My husband Richard worked for General Motors for 31 years. He retired in 2000, and right at the same time he started taking Vioxx for arthritis. 6 months later he had a major stroke, and he worked so hard to come back, and he still could talk. He didn't lose his voice, which we were really grateful for that. Everything was going good. We were going to therapy 3 times a week to help him, and all of a sudden I was helping him get out of bed one morning to get dressed, and he looked at me and kept trying to get up, and all of a sudden he says, "I can't." And I knew he was in trouble. He had a brainstem stroke that left him paralyzed. All he could do was blink his eyes. And that's how he communicated with my children and I for 44 days. We would tell each other we loved each other, and he would open his eyes wide, and I knew he loved me. And this went on for 44 days, and then he died. And it wasn't until Merck pulled Vioxx off from the shelves that my children and I, we cried, because we knew this is what happened to him. This is what caused his death.
My husband suffered from a back injury from work years ago, and he had been taking Celebrex. At the age of 52, he had a stroke one day. There are many, many things he'll never, ever be able to do. We live on 80 acres of family-owned property. 10 of them are ours. And actually, the very first thing we ever did as a couple was to walk in those woods together Easter Sunday. We haven't been able to do that since the stroke.
In 1995, the Michigan legislature was dealing with some tort reform issues, and within that context, product liability laws. In the middle of the night, there was the sentence placed in one of the bills that gave the pharmaceutical industry absolute immunity. There have been several class action suits across the country, of which people who had been victims themselves or someone that their loved one had lost their life because of taking Vioxx. Michigan residents have always been pulled out of those suits when the settlements came because of our law.
We have been working for 2.5 years trying to get this law repealed. We passed 3 bills in the House of Representatives to repeal this law, to make it retroactive, to get things turned around for the people of Michigan. And now we are working to try and get it through the Senate. And this is where our problem lies now. We're having a hard time getting it put to a vote.
We need Senator Bishop to bring this to the floor so it can be put to a vote. And as long as they stonewall on it, there's nothing that can be done about it.
And it's wrong not to be able to help your families if you've been hurt. Nothing I do is going to bring my husband back, but everything I'm doing is to try and help other citizens in Michigan so that this will not happen to anyone else.